I'm just going to be honest. I'm not thrilled with an article that I'm reading and kind of the way the media in general is portraying and covering the Cade Cunningham news. And I'm frustrated about it for a few reasons, of which I'm going to talk about in this video. But first, let's get to the article that has me honestly mad because I think it is false reporting. And I know we're used to seeing that in this day and age where reporting just, quite frankly, isn't what it used to be. But in sports, for the most part, there's still a large level of truth has to be set first. And this article can't be true. And I'm going to tell you why as we get into it. But first, let's look at the article that I'm talking about that has me frustrated. It says, report the Pistons encouraging Cade Cunningham to get surgery amongst or amid Wembanyama rumors. Now, this originally was titled and has since been changed before I could get this video up. It used to be titled Pistons Want to Tank. Cade Cunningham to get surgery amid Wembanyama rumors or something along those lines, or Pistons want to tank for Wembanyama. And I know I joked in the last video, we're wounded for Wembanyama. And I think one of the guys that is always listening to hear, Eric, said woundy for Wemby has a little better ring to it. But he said I could take it. So thank you so much, Eric. But anyways, here's the reason this really, really frustrates me. This is an assumption. They are encouraging Cade Cunningham to get surgery for Wembanyama. That is an assumption. We understand Wembanyama is a great player, but here's the facts. When the Pistons had Cade Cunningham, they were still losing this year. They could have probably gotten a bottom 3 spot or at least a bottom 5 finish this year, just like they did last year, and had just as good of odds to land Wembanyama. Team 1, 2, and 3 all have the exact same odds to land him. There is some credibility to this, and I mentioned this in the video before. James Edwards, he doesn't report false information. And he is saying the Pistons are encouraging Cade Cunningham to have the surgery, and that will likely end the season. Here's the reason it makes me more frustrated, though. To assume that Cade Cunningham, they want him to do it just so they can tank is wrong. This is an injury that has been bothering him. James Edwards also went on to say, they didn't say it in this article, but James Edwards also went on to say that this bothered him last year. It bothered him throughout the summer, and now it is bothering him now. Do you know what that means? That means that it is an injury that isn't healing and that hasn't healed in over 6 months. Maybe even 7 or 8 months. So he's been playing hurt. He's been trying to train while hurt. We all said his jump shot looked flat. So there was a lot of struggles that were happening with Cade Cunningham. The Pistons encouraging Cade to get the surgery does not mean because they want Wembanyama. First off, of course they want Wembanyama. Everybody wants Wembanyama. He's like 7'4". He's a freak athlete. Go watch the tape. It's insanity. Nobody at that height should be doing that. But they probably are encouraging Cade Cunningham to get the surgery because if he gets the surgery now, he'll be able to improve his game in the offseason and he will go into next year 100%. This is a long recovery. This is like a 4 or 5 month recovery. I said earlier 60 games, which that's my calculation for about how long 60 games takes to play, about 4 months. It's a long recovery, but he will be healthy as the year is wrapping up and he will be able to improve his game in the offseason. My thought is that the Pistons are encouraging him to get this so that we don't play him off and on this year and then he doesn't get the surgery, or maybe he waits until later this year, realizes, oh, I really do need the surgery, loses an entire offseason, and then he even loses time into the beginning of next season, or heaven forbid, the same thing happens that happened last year. We don't learn from our mistakes and he's still hurt next year and he has to get the surgery next year. We can't just kick down the can if this thing is a stress fracture. And that's what they're saying they think it is. You can't just kick it down the road. It doesn't just magically heal and go away. James Edwards also went on to say that Rodney Magruder had this surgery when he was playing, and it was about a 60 game recovery, and now he is good. He's good. He's older than Cade. What we want is Cade healthy when this team is going to be a playoff caliber team. Okay, so let's shift gears here. Let's say that there are people out there, because there absolutely are, and some of you listening to this are probably on there, that say, hey, whether this injury is as serious as they think it is or not, he should get the season-ending surgery. He should do it. We should put him on the shelf so we can get a good draft pick next year. Pause. Silly. That is bad logic. This is not the NFL. In the NFL, if you get the number one, if you have the worst record, you get the best pick. Okay. If you have the second worst record, you get the second best pick. You can control your fate with where you pick much better than the NBA. Everything is a lottery. You could be number one, you could drop to 5 or 6. I think you can't drop more than 5 spots below what you're supposed to. You could be number 7 and get number 1. Like, people, we have to understand that you can't just say, oh, we want Wembanyama, let's be the worst team in the league. It doesn't work that way. And by the way, it hasn't worked for us. This idea of let's just tank. Oh, we got Cade. Absolutely. Didn't turn into wins. Okay, that's okay, because we wanted to tank again. Oh, Jaden Ivey fell right into our laps. This is fantastic. Hasn't translated into wins yet. So the thought process is just, let's tank again. Let's get another great player. Now, don't get me wrong. 3 phenomenal players and what he's building, it's kind of starting to remind me of maybe what they did over in OKC. When you're talking Durant, then you're talking Westbrook, you're talking Harden. So you have those 3 great players that were on one team. They didn't keep them all together, and they never won when they were all together, or they never won an NBA final after, not one, but won a final. So like, I'm going into weird things, but I think what frustrates me about this is just the assumption by the national media that, oh, we're tanking. I hate that. It feels like, oh, you're not going to get the number 1 pick because you don't deserve it. Like, it's almost like we're willing ourselves out of it. Of course, we don't want Wembanyama. Like, the dude is ridiculous. Like, can you imagine Jalen Duren and Wembanyama on a front court? That would be unbelievable. But the reason the Pistons are encouraging Cade Cunningham to get the surgery, and I want you to hear me say this. The reason they're encouraging Cade Cunningham to get the surgery is because it's in his best interest. It is for his best health, because what's in his best interest, what is best for his overall long-term health, is what is best for the Pistons. Because right now, Cade Cunningham is the best player on this team. And there is absolutely no guarantees, even if you get Wembanyama, even if you get Scoot, even if you get Amen Thompson, whatever, whoever it might be, the next person that shoots up that is a surefire miss, it is not guaranteed that Cade Cunningham won't be still the best player on this team. Won't still be the best player on this team. So let's get off this idea of, oh no, the Pistons, they just got to let them go. We got to tank. We got to lose every game. Let's punt on the season. We're 20 games in. We're a fourth of the way through the season. Let's just punt. Because right now we're on our way to a 20-60 record. Then we'll see what happens in the last 2 games. Right now we're on pace to win 20 or 21 games. That's just what we're at. That's the pace we're at. So I understand the idea of tanking. We were losing with him. So if Cade plays again this year, it means it's because that's the best thing for Cade. And I understand the team. Okay, let's keep going on this. Let's keep going on this. So how do you know if Cade and Jaden Ivey work together in the backcourt? How do you know how Killian Hayes fits with those guys? How do you know who Cade's the best with? How does he work with Jalen Duren? Have we seen pretty much any of that so far this year? What does that look like with Duren? What does it still look like with Stewart? What about Bay versus Livers versus Burks? People, we need to see the product on the floor. Otherwise, it's just, it might work. So if they want Cade to shut it down, it's not because they're hoping to get a good draft pick. They're getting a good draft pick anyway. And so it's not because they're hoping to get a good draft pick. That is not what's best for the team. I understand a good draft pick is good for the team, but what's best for the team is to figure out what works, so we know what to do with this roster going forward, so it's not just guesswork. And what we've done right now with this Cade injury is we've kicked the can down the road another year, which is what it seems like is always happening. It's just one more year than we thought it was going to be. And that's okay. Still enjoy watching this team. I say that often. I've enjoyed watching us get back-to-back wins as at the time of this filming, and there's going to be a game on in an hour. right? So I think like I've enjoyed watching us get back-to-back wins without Cade. I thought we weren't supposed to be able to win without Cade. Players are going to play. You can't tell a player to tank. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're going to play. They want to win. They want to get paid. And they're competitors. So they're going to keep playing to win. I understand they have a better shot of doing that with Cade on the floor, but not with a Cade at 85%. It's just not the way it works. And that's not how we want him. We want the dude at full strength in the future when our team is competitive again. That's all I got on that one. This article made me frustrated, and it's not the only one like it. Also a little frustrated about the fact that there's just flat out not a lot of information out there, and we don't know what's going on. Good job. Kudos to the front office and the coaching staff for keeping it under wraps. But man, it would be nice to know. Can you imagine if this was New York? Can you imagine if this was the Lakers, if this was LeBron? Like, I mean, oh my goodness, Cade is a really good up and coming player, and it's just been really, really quiet until Bleacher Report throws an article out here that's just ridiculous. All right, I'll see you guys later. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't before. If you liked a couple of the things that I said, love having you be part of the Sports Talk Detroit community, and we'll see you on the next one.